Let's create 2D shapes. From the Create panel, we will go to the Shapes. We will click on the line and we will see here the creation method. Creation method is very important when creating 2D objects. The initial type, make sure it's on corner, and drag type corner as well. This allows us to create a geometric shape. We will close the shape. As you can see here, the snap appears to be in green color. When we click it, a window will appear. It asks us if we want to close this P line. This P line stands for a 2D shape in 3ds Max. We will click on yes. Now this is our geometric 2D shape. We can do some adjustment to make it 3D. We will go on rendering. We open up the panel by clicking on the small arrow. We will click in Enable in Render and Enable in Viewport. Now, as you can see, a 3D wall has been surrounded the 2D object. Because it has been clicked on the rectangular, a rectangular or a geometric surrounding has been created. We can adjust the length and the width and also the angle. We can make it as a radial by clicking on the radial choice here. We can specify the thickness and the sides. Let's click on F4 to view the sides. Increasing the sides will make the shape smoother. Let's try this time and choose smooth. When we initiate the shape, it's going to draw a geometric shape unless we drag the line. When we drag the line, we see a curve has been created. If we want to release the object, we will click Escape. Now we'll go in Rendering, Enable in Render, Enable in Viewport. Here, since we have chosen radial before, the radial automatically has been chosen. We can adjust the thickness and the sides. Again, we can choose rectangular, adjusting the length and the width and the angle as well. Let's delete this shape and create another one. This time we will create a bezier shape. same as the creation method before. The line keeps drawing a geometric shape until we drag. This time we can adjust the position of the arc. Click on Escape. We will go in the rendering panel, choose the radial. Before that, we should enable in render and enable in viewport. You can adjust thickness and the sides. We can also choose rectangular and adjust the length and the width. Now, if you choose the creation method smooth and the drag type smooth, an arc has been created without dragging the line, simply by clicking. I can close the shape and I can click yes. Again, I can enable in render and enable in view. And I can choose between the radial and rectangular. If I keep the initial on smooth and click on the bezier, when I click and drag, I can adjust the direction of the arc. I can also enable in render and in viewport and choose between radial and rectangular. Let's create another shape. Let's create a circle. Again, it will ask for the creation method. From the center and drag. You can see here there is a red axis that shows the radius. Again, you can adjust the radius from the parameters. Or you can choose the creation method from the edge. You can also adjust the radius. Again, when we click on rendering, enable in render and check on the enable in viewport, you can choose between radial, adjusting the thickness and the side, or rectangular. Let's create an arc. The creation method here is end, end, and middle. So we will specify the first end. We will drag till we reach the other end. And then we can see our arc is being created. We can drag upward or downward. Click again to finish the 2D shape. Again, we can go into the rendering panel and choose between the radial and the rectangular. We can also choose center and end, which means we can specify the center of the arc. We create the first end and then the last end. We can go beyond as well. We can change the radius. Here also from. We'll change the from. It means the initiated point. Let's make it 0 for now. 2, which means the end of the arc. If we increase it to 360, we will have a circle. Let's choose the end gun. Again, it will ask for the creation method, either from the center or from the edge. We will click and drag. End gun basically creates a geometric shape. We can specify the radius. And the side. We can also adjust the corner radius. If we increase it, you can see the edges has been smoothened on. Just like the fillet in AutoCAD. Now let's move on to the text. Here you could write any desirable thing. You can also choose the desired font. Here is a size 100 meter. You can decrease it to, for example, 4 meters. Click on the plane. Now, you can adjust the size of the text. You can incline the text, underline it. Again, in rendering, you can enable in renderer and enable in viewport. Just adjust the radial. Here is the rectangular. Let's create an egg. Click and drag. And you can also have another egg inside it. If you don't want the outline, simply uncheck it. You can adjust the length and the width. Also, you can enable in render and enable in view. Let's go on freehand. Basically, when you drag, the freehand will create a freehand line. But because we have chosen the snap on the grid, it has created a line in respect to the grid. Let's delete it. Disable the snap toggle. And now you can create a freehand line. Again, you can enable and render. You can also create a rectangle. And you can change the length and the width and the corner radius. to smoothen the edges of the rectangle. You can also enable it in rendering. You can also create an ellipse and you can adjust the length and the width. You can also create an outline and specify the thickness of the outline. You can also create a donut. Select the desired creation method, either on edge or center, and create your donuts. The second radius, if you drag the mouse inward, and you can also drag it outward. You can also adjust either of the radius. You can also create a star. Also, you can create a helix. Just specify the radius and the height. Here is the radius 1. You can make it 2 meters. Radius 2, make it again 2 meters. And also the height. You can also specify numbers of turns. You can also adjust the base. You can also specify the turns, either clockwise or counterclockwise.